Shall I turn in my badge and rifle as well?
Fine. How is she over here? Sharpening my feathers.
Alrighty, hello everyone. Welcome to the 2023 Spring Collegiate League of Legends season. So your Florida Tech Panthers here are kicking off the season today versus Texas A&M. My name is Jean-Pierre, or JP. I'm a sophomore computer science student here at Florida Tech, and we also have Flay here.
Hello, hello. Hope you guys are all doing well. I'm known as Florida Tech's biggest fan, and I am honored to be here today.
Yeah, so today we have just a few changes heading into the spring semester from last fall. So let's introduce our roster from top to bottom. In the top lane, we got Dipanator. In the jungle, we got Reset, previously known as Potion Guy. In the mid lane now, we have Fungus Dungus, previously known as Pyramid Power. So a bunch of name swaps going on. In the bot lane, we have two new faces. We've got AYD Instinct in the AD carry role, and we've got Jono LOL in the support role. And on the other side, Texas A&M. They've got Ron Bryan in the top lane, Bread Bin Crouton in the jungle, CK Reborn, who I think actually got substituted, so we'll see, in the mid lane, and then Coat as their ADC, and Eric Xander in the support position. So yeah, this will be, I'm pretty sure, a best of 3. Draft has already started here, and a lot of interesting changes going on in the new season, right?
A lot of new changes. A lot of changes to the bot lane. A lot of changes to the jungle. A lot of changes all around the board. As you know, preseason we really did not see too many changes in the initial patch. So we have 13-1B here to make up for it with a bunch of new changes that I'm excited to see and play today.
Yeah, and banning phase has already gone through, and some very strong champions already taken off the table. Elise, probably the best AP jungler in the game, besides maybe Maokai as well, who is also banned. Just the champion has so much damage. Zac and Caitlyn being banned as well. Zac is kind of a champion you don't see much in the jungle role. He's kind of transitioned to be a mid laner now, which is kind of interesting. And Caitlyn as well, just super strong ADC overall, has so many just bully lanes. Like you can go Lux, Morgana with it. And yeah, so the first phase, Karma, Ezreal, and Wukong for Florida Tech on the blue side. Just 3 very strong champions, right?
Absolutely, and I mean, you mentioned Elise, and it's kind of interesting because we don't normally see Elise all too often, and this is like the first time that Elise has actually had like a spike in power for the first time in a very, very long time. So a little bit sad to see that we will not be having Elise in this game, but
yeah,
interesting to see Elise starting to get banned.
Yep, and we have basically 2 of the strongest junglers, Wukong and Sejuani, for opposing sides here. Wukong is just insanely powerful at level 6, and his early gank's not even bad that well, and he clears very well. And am I seeing this champion being last picked here?
Oh, I don't think we're gonna. Oh, maybe we will. Maybe we will. He's tempting us a little bit.
K'Sante can beat Jax in the top lane, so yeah, let's see what it is. And if you play League, you know what K'Sante is. You know what this character is, and it's honestly, it's quite disgusting. This champion is super powerful. It's a tank that just kills you. That's basically what the champion is. It's insane. But looking at the drafts overall, I don't know. I don't know which draft I would prefer to have, honestly, in this game.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to say, honestly. You know, I think I'm a little bit more favored towards red side. I think I'm liking that they're fighting a little bit more. I'm liking the engage that Cassante Sejuani have, and the possibilities that they have. I think blue does have a lot of damage and a lot of potential for getting picks, but I think it's really going to be up to them to play these fights very, very slow, considering the amount of engage that red side has. Blue side's almost forced just to kind of like play slow. Like, I mean, all you really have is reliable engages, Ari and Wukong, right? You don't really have too much else going on there, so it's kind of hard to find those opportunities to look for good fights. But who knows?
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but in my eyes, I think it's just very hard for blue to look for any advantageous plays on this comp.
Yeah, and as you said, Texas A&M here on the red side have so much engage, so much CC. Cassante, Sejuani, the Syndra stun, the Ash arrow as well. I mean, they just have so much CC and so much pick. And if you get hit by an Ash arrow, you best believe that that's going to be layered on top with every other CC imaginable.
There's
Maybe
plenty more where that came from.
yeah, exactly. Maybe a Jin W. You know, get the snare off, and then you're just dead, right? So the Ezreal pick, I mean, Ezreal I think is just one of the strongest ADs in the game right now. Actually, maybe not from the new patch. I don't know. Maybe Flay here is.
I think Ezreal is. I think that's fair to say. I think
Yeah.
Ezreal can be played in a variation of different play styles that can work very, very well. You have the option to take PTA, right, which can help you a lot if you go the Kraken Slayer build, and it can deal with tanks in a way. It's also really nice to take Conquer as well if it's just a very, very tanky game where there's 2 or 3 strong, healthy, buffy characters that you need to deal with as Ezreal. And you have Conquer as an option as well. I mean, you just have so many options on this champion, and it's so safe as well with the Arcane Shift as well. I mean, Ezreal is he's just a great pick all around. You cannot go wrong with that champ.
Exactly, yeah. And I'm also looking at this. The Karma pick is really good. I think it was first picked, but it does offer a lot of disengage, right? The AoE shield and movement speed, very good disengage. Right. I think that Florida Tech's most of their champions here have decent disengage and also engage. I think, as you said, Ari and Wukong, very strong engage champions with the Spirit Rush, and I think the Cyclone is Wukong's ult. I'm trying to remember all the ability names because it has been a while. But yeah, the Cyclone on the Wukong, lots of engage. But I think, on the other hand, Texas A&M do have disengage. The Syndra knockback can counter it can completely shut down a play, right? Say Fungus Dungus goes in with the Spirit Rush on the Ari and then just gets stunned. And then what do you do, right?
Right.
So lots of engage and disengage from both sides. I think overall, in terms of scaling, I don't know which team I prefer. I think Syndra is just one of the hardest scaling mages in the game right now with her splinters, her basically her rework, which was, I think, at the end of last year, the Syndra rework. So just super scaling on her side. And I don't know much about Jin. I don't know much about what Jin's state is currently.
Jin's kind of in a weird position. I think mostly, with this preseason, he's been one of the more underplayed ADCs and underrepresented. But I think with the changes made to IE, I think Jin has become a little bit more stronger. He has a little bit more pressure earlier on into the game, and it doesn't take him 3 items to become a champion. So I think with that in mind, I think Jin is a decent pick here. It depends how it operates with this Ash lane. Obviously poke Ash has been toned down a little bit as well, but it is still very, very strong and, can still be quite the bully of a lane. So I guess we'll just see how the laning phase goes for the bot lane and see what changes are made there.
I mean, you did say that Ash Jin can poke a lot, but so can Karma Ezreal. Karma Ezreal is kind of a notorious poke lane in the bot lane, and looking at the runes and everything seems pretty standard. Cleanse 4 instinct. You do need cleanse versus Ash, the Ash arrow, and just all the CC that Texas A&M have here. So we are in game now. I'm interested to see what reset. I think, in my opinion, since I am a jungler, the way I play we do have a pause, and there seems to be a DC. I'll just continue on my tangent a little bit. But yeah, so jungle for me is just, there are champions that can full clear very fast. In my opinion, I think that Udyr is just the strongest champion in the game in jungle. He just clears so quick. And with the preseason changes to jungle and everything, they just made, I think they made jungling easier to do. And they made jungling more accessible with the new pets and everything. But other than that, I think trying to get level 3 ganks off is also very good.
Level 3 ganks have been very, very strong, and most games have been determined by which jungler paths bot lane first and wins and comes out on top. Most games are decided from just that play alone. So with that in mind, the junglers that can clear the fastest and gank the strongest are going to be the champions that are ultimately strongest in my mind.
Yeah, and it looks like in pretty much all these lanes except for bot lane you have set up, right? If you get an Ari charm or a Syndra stun, your jungler can follow up. Yeah, so you're just gonna look for that. And also Sejuani by herself is just really good at ganks, And also it's important to notice that Sejuani is very good with melee champions, and she's only got 1 on her team, right? She's only got Cassante. But I mean, Sejuani is just probably one of the best champions in the game right now in jungle. So much pressure, can clear very fast and healthy, and it's just a really good champion. Yeah.
Absolutely. Got some decent damage on top of that too. I mean,
Yep.
you know, it's not some Cassante tank damage, right? But
Yeah.
you know, it's still some damage. It's definitely something you don't want to forget about.
Yeah, and what do you think about first strike on Ezreal? Because you were talking about Ezreal runes, like PTA versus Conqueror. What do you think about first strike in this game?
You know, first strike, it's an interesting choice. I think first strike can be decent. You mostly want to take first strike into, you know, sort of squishier, you know, opposing compositions. I would say would be where you get the most value out of first strike. But you know, I think it's okay. I think it can work here if you're able to get the value out of it and get the gold generation from it. I think it can be good here. I personally would prefer PTA, but that's just me. But I think first strike can still work here as long as there's, you know, a good amount of squishy champions to work against. Then I think it works great.
Yeah, and it looks like junglers here starting on the opposite side of each other, so it'll be a split map here in the early game. Bread Bin Crouton, what an interesting name. On the Sejuani, he will be pathing towards the bot side, and Reset will actually be pathing top lane into this Jax versus Cassante matchup, which in pro play I have seen the Cassante win pretty much every single time, so I don't know. I don't know actually how that matchup works, but Jax also got that rework at the beginning of the season, and lots of trading going on here. Level 2 advantage does land the root onto Jono. Jono's going to get poked out here. He's going to flash out in the top lane. A little bit of trading. The counter-strike from Dipanator will not land the stun. And this is one of the most, I think, the most disgusting parts of Cassante is the amount of mobility that this champion has as a tank. The champion has so many dashes. It's unbelievable, honestly, but enough ranting about the Riot Game balance team. Both junglers looking for a little bit of almost a full clear.
I was just gonna mention, did you see the scorch damage that's stacking up from this Cassante? I mean, those Qs are adding up onto Dipanator.
Yeah, did he take Scorch on Cassante? It's kind of...
I think he might have. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah,
that is Scorch. That is Scorch, yeah. I've never seen that before, but I mean, I guess he's just trying to poke out the Jax because I don't think that Cassante could actually straight up beat a lethal tempo Jax in an extended fight, unless the champion is just extremely broken. But he's just going for trying to poke him out of lane, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. I do like this choice of Scorch. I think it's good against Jax here.
Yep.
I'm a fan of that choice.
And Red Bin Crouton heading out to the bot lane. There is a ward in the tri-bush, so they are going to suspect this, but this is the classic right here, the level 3 dive in the bot lane, and then what do you do afterwards? But, I mean, Jono has no flash from that early trade, and Reset is on the top side of the map, so he can't really defend this, but he does ping towards mid lane, maybe looking for a gank there. Red Bin Crouton decides to back off and take the crab, and Reset is just hovering around here. Maybe Fungus can look for a charm onto him. He just gets stunned away, and we do look at the top lane. Not much going on there, just Dipanator shoving in HZ.
Yep. We're off to some slow, methodic farming. You know, we don't always see this. Sometimes we will see some aggressive starts, but you know, sometimes this is how these league games starts out. And you know, I'm sure within a minute or two, those circumstances they will change very quickly. That tends to happen quite often.
Yeah, and also, ooh, a little more trading going on here, but the wave is going back here into Dipanator, so he'll be happy with that. He'll just collect that wave under his tower. Both junglers on their first resets here. Wukong with Sheen is very, very strong, especially if you go for that Q-Max build, because there are two variations of Wukong. You can go like E-Max or Q-Max. I think that Q-Max is probably just the strongest upfront damage, and Dipanator trading more onto HG. The Unstoppable will knock him back. He will use the leap to get away. Fungus Long is here running out of mana. Will Ron Brandt go for the maybe a flash play, but no. Alexander there did a little roam up from the bot lane. And Fungus Longus is going to be forced to reset here. His reset did get cancelled because Ron Bryan was looking for the just trying to like cancel his reset. But Fungus Longus will just TV back into mid lane, so not much will be lost.
Yeah, and speaking of not much being lost, Dipanator there picking up nearly just about every single minion under that turret there.
Yep.
Well done CSing on his behalf. And speaking of CSing, we have quite a lot of that going on here in the bot lane. We did see a lot of early trades coming out from the side of Alexander and Coat, but seems to have slowed down a little bit, and we've just come to the methodical farming phase.
Yep, everyone's farming, and there is a ping onto the dragon. I think it is Mountain Dragon first, which is kind of big. Mountain Dragon is such a huge spike, especially since it gives you percentage of your current armor, and Sejuani here already has cloth armor, so it's going to be just super, super efficient, and they're just going to start it up here, and they can actually do it pretty easily, because Reset is on the top side of the map. He is running over. I think he's actually gonna. They're just gonna give this dragon. There's not much they can do here. So an early Mountain Drake pickup here, potentially into a Dragon Soul win con for Texas A&M. Dipanator just queuing in, tickling HC a little bit. But yeah, early Mountain Dragon picked up. That's huge. They're gonna have so much resistances across the board.
Absolutely. I mean, as you mentioned, we do have the Cloth Armor purchase on Sejuani, and obviously Casante's probably going to be following suit with some items very similar to that. So we're going to have a very, very tanky-esque sort of styled game here, I would imagine.
Yeah, and it's hard to imagine, like, what would Ezreal build? Divine Sunder? But when you have Divine Sunder on with First Strike, I don't think those pair very well together. I think if you go First Strike, yeah, I think if you go Sunder, you should just go Conquer. And Fungus Song is taking a lot of poke damage here from Ron Bryan's Syndra. They both, actually, Fungus Song is a level up, but I think Ron Bryan will... Oh, he did not level up off those minions, so there was a little bit of an XP difference in the mid lane here. Ooh, he just get flashed on. Fungus Dongus has to flash away. Very good flash there. If he got hit by that Syndra, he would have been bursted down and probably dead. Meanwhile, more trading in the bot lane. The exhaust is down onto Instinct. Ignite onto Xander. Xander is forced to flash away. Ooh, the flashing from Instinct. The flash again, the cleanse. But the auto does not kill. And the fourth shot from Coat gets the first blood onto Instinct. The last second heal from Coat saves Xander from that last auto attack. And oh my, a 2v2 play in the bot lane. And Texas A&M come out on top. Meanwhile, Casante, I will not yield. That's what he yells when he ults. He gets he ults Dipanator, but Dipanator forced to flash away. So, yeah, just everything going on in the bot lane and the top lane here, mid lane also. Yeah, so Texas A&M so far, with all the summoners they've burned and that first blood they just got, they're looking pretty good in this game so far.
That they are, and very unfortunate on the side of Florida Tech. Instinct and Jono just coming so close to almost just being able to pick up that Ashe and get out with it, but the clutch heal from Coat is just, unfortunately, too clutch.
Yeah.
And, they managed to pick up the double from it, or not the double, the single from it. But
the single, yeah.
Could have potentially been a double.
And now I think Bread Bin Crouton is starting up the Herald exactly 8 minutes when it starts up, and Eric Xander is also here. So I think that another objective will be going the way of Texas A&M. And I mean, what can you really do, right? Like, the amount of pressure that Casante has on Jax right now after that first reset with the Sheen. Oh, meanwhile, Fungus Dunk is going to Spirit Rush in. The Charm will miss and reset using the Cyclone. Ron Bryan forced to flash away, and Eric Xander is here just to throw some auto attacks, you know?
Might as well, right? You might as well. I mean, this position is just so tough to be in. I mean, as you mentioned here, just the pressure Casante has on the top lane here, and then you have Eric roaming all the way up just to make sure that the Herald is properly secured. And I mean, Jin's just down here solo CSing, and nothing's really changed. I mean, we have some good trading going on here, left and right, but for the most part, Jin's just able to farm down there while Ashe goes and roams and does whatever they want.
Ooh,
so
look at mid lane though. Breadbin Crouton is side in that side bush next to the mid lane. He's maybe looking for a dive onto Fungus Dungus, but he's actually just walking into the lane, into the tower, and to make sure that, yeah, he drops the Herald, and Fungus Dungus can't farm. He has no mana and no TP. He's be forced on a reset here, and he is down a tremendous amount of CS. Breadbin Crouton gonna head here towards the Raptors. The Ashe Hawk Shot does go out, but doesn't spot reset. Resets in the top lane. Ooh, and some trading going on in the top lane. Dipanator gonna be actually doing a lot of damage here to HG. He's forced to flash away, and it looks like reset is coming up for the dive. He does not have the Cyclone available, but he does have flash, and the Casante ult is almost up. He's gonna go in and very, very, very fast and get that kill. Very well done from them. If they had waited a little bit, look, his ult just came up. The Casante ult just came up. And meanwhile, on the bot lane, the curtain call will go down. Instinct is forced to tank it because Jono is kind of low. Jono flashing away from the third shot. Fourth shot will land on the Instinct. The root will as well. And Breadbin Crouton will pick up that kill. Ashe Arrow as well, maybe. Dodged by Jono. Very well. That was a good dodge, yep. And honestly, the bot lane here, they're so far ahead in gold. That first blood that they got, plus that kill they got there, and they're going to be able to get these plates here for free and crash this wave. Also in the mid lane, the Herald that went down, giving a lot of gold over to Ron Bryan as well. Looks like, Texas A&M, they're up in gold pretty much, I think, in every lane. I think the only even lane is probably top lane at this point.
Yeah, I think you'd be correct about that.
Yeah, and also already picked up the Radiant Virtue on Sejuani. I think Radiant Virtue is just, it's one of the I don't see that mythic too often, but the people who, like, the champions that can build it, like Vi, It's just like more like the utility champions, right? Like, I think I've seen it on Bard as well. I've seen it on Sejuani, obviously. Yeah, Zach as well is probably the champion that can use it the most. I've seen it on Hecarim as well, and it's actually really good on Hecarim. You just ult in, you get the heals. But yeah.
Yeah, I've seen Radiant Virtue. I haven't seen it purchased all too much.
Reset going in, Cyclone going down. Ron Bryan, he does not have flash, but he's gonna go away. The charm will land, and this will probably be a kill for Fungus Dungus. Reset will take the kill, and Hextech Dragon going to be picked up here. So second dragon picked up.
Oh, the Asher.
Asher will miss, and so does the Glacial Prison. Is that what it's called? I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, I think it's Glacial Prison.
Yeah.
I don't know for sure, but I think you're right.
Yeah. And so they will get that dragon there. So what soul is it? It is Infernal Soul. So, ooh, big damage here. Big damage. Infernal Soul is probably one of the hardest souls to play against, besides maybe... Actually, I don't know what the hardest soul to play against is in the current game. I think that Mountain Soul is probably the best overall, but I'm not too sure.
Might be Chemtech, but it's hard to say. There's just... I don't know, there's so many different utilizations of Soul and so many different scenarios that could be good. You know, if your team has a lot of good ultimates that can be utilized, then a Cloud Soul can be really dirty. If your team's really tanky, then Mountain Soul can be very dirty. Like, there's just so many different incidents where different souls could be really, really good.
A little invade here onto Reset's Raptors. He's just trying to clear the ward, but Breadbin Crouton will actually no. The Syndra Q from Ron Bryant picked up those mini Raptors, and AYD Instinct. This feels so bad, man. You're under the tower, just trying to farm, and you're getting poked from 3 monitors away by Ash Jin. There's not much you can do. Oh my, that 4th shot doing so much damage.
Yeah, it seems like we're just CSing under turret for the most part. That's all we can really do this point in the game.
Yeah,
It's very tough. I mean, you have Eric just constantly throwing a barrage of arrows down different lanes, which will connect onto Fungus Dungus, Ron Bryan, Syndra R, but will not quite be lethal.
But I do think he got a really good amount of gold off of that from the first strike. He basically used his full damage combo when he had first strike up there. So, I don't know. I don't know how much that translates to gold, but it is quite a bit.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Even though he doesn't get the kill, he will be picking up
Oh, Reset here. Kind of getting caught out here. He will get stunned up. He does flash, but it is too late. Oh, he Cyclones, but he misses the flash over the wall. And he actually, if he got on that last Cyclone proc off, he could have gone. Oh, Fungus on his Spirit Rush in, hits the charm onto Alexander. Alexander is forced to flash away. The Radiant Virtue will be procced from the Glacial Prison. Meanwhile, top lane, just Dipanator just queues in, and then HG just... Yeah, it's just the small little micro trades in the top lane, but lots of action in the mid lane, and in the end, it is 1-0 for Texas A&M.
That it is, and might be a little bit more here with the solo kill. Dealing some good damage. Instinct forced to burn his cleanse, and we will be seeing a turret over to the Texas side here. That will be first turret, getting that extra gold on over to them.
Yep, and it actually looks like Instinct is building Trinity Force from the Sheen and the Heartbound Ash. Ooh, the Asher lands the root as well. Coat with the Q and the 4th shot. Very well done. This is the like Ash support. Her ult cooldown is extraordinarily low. Look, if you look on the right there, she just used it, and the cooldown is already pretty much halfway done. So
Yeah.
she can just chuck down arrows into a lane and just pray. I mean, she's already hit 2 of them, so you know it's been very, very good. You got that forced that play in the mid lane, which Reset died in, and just got that kill Undertale onto Instinct. So I mean, you're just like chucking down arrows into lanes.
Absolutely. If your team's able to follow up on those arrows, then those arrows can just be absolutely decimating, and there's not much you can really do about it. You kind of just have to look for it and try and sidestep it best as you can.
Ooh, Dipanator here getting engaged on, but he will just hop away to the minion. Reset here, clearing that ward in the Raptors. And I mean, for Florida Tech, what do you think is the win con here? You have Jin. They all basically have just completed their mythic on the side of Texas A&M here. Iceborne Gauntlet for the Cassante, and everything else just looking pretty standard. Gale Force on Jin. I mean, what other mythic can you go on Jin? With the nerfed, or not really a nerf, but I think the Eclipse changes are... Ooh, I will not yield goes out. The arrow will actually be flashed by Dipanator, and Fungus Dungus lands that charm here. Reset is able to go in as well. The Cyclone, but he flashes over the wall and uses Gale Force. Meanwhile, the Glacial Prison onto Reset. The Curtain Call will land. Can Reset dodge these bullets? He cannot. Oh, he dodges the last one, but he gets killed in the end by Breadbin Crouton, and a very unfortunate series of events there for Florida Tech. The Jin barely escaped with the flash and the Gale Force over the wall, and I mean, yeah, there's not much else you can really do here. Breadbin Crouton, he will be going up onto Fungus Fungus. Root will land. Can he get the stun off with one more auto attack? No, he cannot. And Ko is actually kind of low here. Dipanator, more fighting in the top lane, but not much else going on. Bot tower picked up for Texas A&M.
As you mentioned, yeah, just super unlucky there for Florida Tech. Fungus had such a good engage onto the Jhin. He saw his opening there and pretty much had Cope below everything. Heal, flash, Gale Force, everything, and barely makes it out alive, which is just truly unfortunate.
Yep. And I mean, Dipanator here, he actually is getting quite low here in the top lane against HZ, and you just remember that Cassante has just so many he just has shields and just damage it and everything. Whenever I talk about Cassante, just the champion just has everything. It is such a just strong champion overall right now in the meta. Yeah.
I mean, what is Cassante missing, right? What is he missing? Not
AP
very
ratios.
much. Yeah, an AP ratio, like.
It's
I mean,
fine.
aside from that, he's got literally everything else. So the champion is got everything.
Well,
what else can be said?
He scales from HP and he scales from resistances. Woohoo! Anyways, yeah, he does TV back into the top lane, and Reset is actually hovering behind Dipanator. Dipanator will just reset here. He does not have the TP up, but it is Infernal Soul points for Texas A&M. So the next dragon, unless Florida Tech decide just to go, just give it up, I don't think they will. And Reset maybe trying to get a little sneaky here onto the Ashe. Jono as well will be up here, but yeah, I mean, they're basically Texas A&M can just force Florida Tech to come to the dragon, the next one, or just take Baron. So I mean, Infernal Soul is just super strong on all their champions, right? So it's just Soul Point is just so hard to play against because you're just forced to go. Otherwise, you just lose, right? So I'm expecting the next dragon, which will actually be up. No, it won't be up near Baron, but it'll be close to Baron. The next dragon will probably be either the end of the game or the beginning of a comeback.
Yeah, we hope to see it. I mean, as you've mentioned here, Dipanator and HZ have just had these slow trades.
Ooh, Reset cycloning in here. He's kind of by himself. The Glacial Prism cooldown, he is forced to flash away. That arrow will be dodged. Red Clinton going back in, and Dipanator, meanwhile, gonna pop the ult to Goat. Gale Force forced to be used by Goat. Meanwhile, Fungus over the wall. Beautiful Spirit Rush. Shut down onto the Jhin. Fungus, he has two more charges here. The exhaust was used. There go Clinton. He will hit the Q onto Fungus. He splashes forwards. He is by himself here, but meanwhile, Dipanator is kind of 1v3 in the backside. The Unleashed, I think that's the Syndra ult, the Unleashed Power or something, will be going down in a double kill over to Ron Bryant. Florida Tech are forced to walk away. And in the end, Texas A&M win the fight.
Yeah, I mean, things were looking really good there for Florida Tech. You know, you'd think you'd see a little bit more out of that, but unfortunately, Redman and HZ are they're just too tanky to kill. They're just too tanky.
They are too tanky, and now Ron Bryant here, he almost has the Seraphs completed, and, you know, it's going to be hard. This is a very strong Syndra here, just ding level 13. I don't know how many splinters she has, but probably has 2 upgrades so far on the Q and the E. So, yeah, we're just going to have to keep track of the Syndra. Just going to be super strong.
Absolutely. I mean, I think with just the gold lead here alone, I think Texas is just kind of in a position here where they can just take any fight they kind of want. Well, you know, it doesn't really matter at this point in the game. That any fight that they see as an opening, they'll go for it, 100%.
7k gold up here, and Florida Tech seem to have just finished their mythic items. Their first items. Meanwhile, Texas A&M already working on their second items. I mean, Ron Bryant already has his Seraphs or Archangel Staffs upgrading into the Seraphs, and Sunfire Cape completed onto the Sejuani. So, I mean, overall, it's just, you know, it's really hard. Like, the item deficit all over the board because of the gold deficit. It's really hard to take these fights, and we'll see that at the Infernal Dragon, or the Infernal Soul fight, if there is one. It's just, yeah, I mean, it's really hard for Florida Tech in this game.
Absolutely. I mean, you have to look for any openings you possibly can, and it's just really hard to find them here. And you almost have to be playing on your toes as well, because you have to be watching for this Ashe arrow, right? You cannot just be autopilot going in. You never know when you could be getting engaged on. Speaking of getting engaged on, we have Dipanator getting engaged or engaging onto HZ, dealing some pretty good damage here, but I will not yield. Dealing some solid damage to Dipanator, but it's not going to be enough here. And he's going to be pushed into the top.
Ashe arrow goes
out, goes wide onto Xander, but
Glacial Prison.
Glacial Prison drops, Glenn, flash away. and Jono will drop it. No kills out of it. No kills out of it, but some good damage.
Yep, the curtain call will chunk them out here, and I wonder if they just look for this mid tower and then maybe transition into Baron. It is definitely a play that they could go for. Meanwhile, oh, Fungus, he does get the charm onto Ron Bryant, but nothing out of it. Coat will snipe off Jono, and Bill, I keep saying Bill because I keep thinking his name is Bill Clinton, I don't know why, but Breadbin gets out of there alive, and they will get that mid tower. And honestly, I mean, Fungus, he did land a charm onto Ron Bryan, but they were just too pressured in the backline to have any follow-up.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you've got Breadbin just knocking on the doors of your backline. I mean, what else are you left with other than you just kind of have to go front to back. You can't make it all the way to the backline there and deal with Ron Bryan. You've got to deal with what's in front of you first. Yep,
and these are the ADC changes coming in. Coat, second item, Infinity Edge, because of the changes. So Infinity Edge used to be, you need to have 60% crit chance to activate the passive, and the passive for the Infinity Edge is you get bonus crit damage. I think it's 3% increased damage on your crits. So now that it's your second item, you just have access, you just power spike way much earlier.
Absolutely. I mean, for those who've been long-time League of Legends players, you'd know that that's the way that crit used to be. But you know, with how champions are nowadays, it's kind of weird. You know, you got double crit on Yasuo and Yone and stuff, but that's just how it is. Anyways, Fungus, he is going to be getting caught out here. Meanwhile, Ron Bryan is also going to be picking up a kill onto Dipanator. And things are tough here. We've got the Soul Point Dragon up here. It is going to be Infernal Soul. And, you know, Florida Tech in a very rough position here. They do have no other choice left but to try and make something happen. Reset, he's going in trying to look for something, but is not able to find it. Curtain Call is going down, just taking the pressure off of this Dragon. And Texas, they're going to be picking up the Infernal Soul Point.
Yep, and I just imagine they're just going to run straight towards Baron. There are 3 people down on Florida Tech, no TP for Dipanator, so they're just going to run straight to the Baron. And honestly, I mean, if there was TP available, I think that Texas A&M are just so far ahead that they'll just win any fight, right? Like, they're super far ahead in terms of gold. They're pretty much with 10k gold up, Infernal Soul. They're about to take Baron, and honestly, this is looking like the end of the game.
Yeah, there's really not much Florida Tech can do in this situation here. I imagine Texas is going to just pick up the Baron here, get in a quick reset, and look to close out this game.
Yep, and I mean, I don't know. This game was very, very weird. The early game was kind of stable, was pretty stable, except that I think the early game was stable from both sides. You know, not much happening really much in the early game, except for the dragon stacking. But the CS leads that were built up by bot lane and mid lane, you know, ended up pulling through, and a completed debt cap here for Ron Bryant. He has 3 items. Meanwhile, Fungus is still looking for that Seraph's second item. So this Syndra is going to hit like a truck, especially if he hits level 16 as well. I'd imagine that he has pretty much all the upgraded splinters. So it's just going to be one shot after one shot, just so much damage.
Absolutely. I mean, we mentioned it earlier in this game, and I don't believe we necessarily saw it, but getting bot lane prio is very, very important in this current meta. If you're able to get it early, it just unlocks your support to be able to do kind of whatever they want. We witnessed this pretty early on into the laning phase where we saw Eric roaming at level 4 on mid lane just because the lane was open up just with the amount of prio that they had in bot lane. That's why it's so prevalent that you get it.
Yeah, and Reset here is going to get chunked out. He's looking for something. He is already 1 HP. The charm is going to hit, and everything's going to be used. Cyclone onto him as well, and the ult will... Actually, he does get the kill onto Reset here. The execution damage from the splinters will get the kill, and so they do get the kill onto Ron Bryan, but...
Eric is coming behind here.
Yep, he is, and Fungus is looking for something, but he will not be able to. He gets killed off. Or actually, no, that was Jono. And he's going to get flashed on, and the double kill from Coat here. And honestly, with this wave that they have, actually they don't have a wave top lane, but it looks like they'll just grab the tower here and maybe look to end through mid lane. And yeah, meanwhile, HG just, you know, he just chilling in the bot lane, just split pushing.
Yeah, might as well, right? He's got no one to contest him. Hey, these turrets, they're looking real nice. Mind if I just break them real quick?
And I mean, they're just all 3 lanes are just getting cracked open here by Texas A&M. And I mean, Ron Bryan, he does have TP for when he comes back up, so I wonder if he just, he'll just TP into the mid lane. They're going to pretty much grab mid and bot lane inhibitors and look for maybe to end the game. Or, you know, they might just reset and, you know, look for just one last game-ending fight.
Ashero goes wide, same with the Ezreal R. And
Yep.
looks like, yeah, Texas will ultimately choose just to kind of back up here, not over push their bearings.
Yep, very good, self-control, or not team control, you could say, like, to not get greedy and just sit there and try to go for the end. They're just gonna play it safe, make sure nothing crazy happens, and yeah, they'll just pick up all the jungle camps as well, completely starve Florida Tech from any resources, and yeah, they'll just probably group up. HG will go into the side lane because he has TP up. They're just gonna group and just look for one last fight.
Yep, I imagine so. On Brian, just gonna pick up the blue buff on there.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if we're gonna be able to make it to an Elder fight. I imagine the game will inevitably close out before that. It looks like Florida Tech might be trying to make a play here onto HC. Dipanator, he is going hard onto this Cassante, but Cassante is returning this damage. Look at Dipanator's HP. I will not yield. Will Cassante yield? Let us find out. But meanwhile, we've got a whole big fight in the mid lane there. Ron Brian popping Instinct, looking for more. Maybe onto Fungus, but the charm does land. And he is taking up a good amount of damage there. Ron Brian, he's going to live. He does have the Seraph shield chilling. And we've got Breadbin dealing some good damage to this Karma. Jono also might be going down here, and the Jin R will seal his fate. And it looks like we might be having the game close out. TP is coming on, and turret goes down. HZ has arrived to the fight. Dipanator trying to go in.
Arm on him because he gets exhausted, and the flash in from Coat, and that will be the game from Texas A&M. Honestly, very dominant. They're just overall dominant from here from Texas A&M.
Yeah, I mean, can we really say much else other than that? Texas A&M looked great. They knew their win cons from the beginning, and it seems like they just followed suit with that throughout the game. Plain and simple.
Exactly. Yeah, all their lanes seem to do really, really well. Maybe top lane could have been a win con there for Florida Tech, but just Cassante overall, he scales very, very hard, and bot lane is just the best role in the game. Honestly, it's just the best role.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I mean, as we mentioned earlier on the game, bot lane prio can decide a lot in a game. You're able to unlock the Ashe support to go and roam early on, do whatever. And you almost had Jono in a position where he was chained down to bot lane, and if he would leave Ezreal would just dove and die, or he'd get dove and die. So, yeah, I agree very, very much so. Not much you can really do in that position if you're Instinct.
Yeah, well played to Breadbin as well on the Sejuani, showing up. He basically was in every lane except for top lane. I'm pretty sure he just pressured every lane. He just in the bot lane at level 3, even though he didn't dive them, he did pressure them by showing that he was looking for a dive. So just just being there and pressuring bot lane a line, also getting flashes, getting Fungus Dungus's flash in the mid lane, which set up for a kill. I'm pretty sure with that one play where and also. Good effort as well from Reset. He went for a lot of plays on the Wukong. He did, at one point he was looking pretty strong with a completed Divine Sunder, but just not enough damage to get through the Sejuani and Cassante tankiness.
Right, exactly, and it's really tough as well when the first drag is mountain, just to kind of pad up those stats a little bit. It does not make killing those tanks any easier. So yeah, definitely not an easy situation to be in whatsoever. But either way, it was a very good game. GG's to both teams indeed. I don't know. Are we going to be having a game 2?
Yes, it is the best of 3. It is the best.
It is a best of 3. Okay, then I take that back. We'll be going into a game 2 here shortly. We may or may not be having a break come up here. I am not too sure.
Yes, there will be a little break.
We will be having a little break. Okay, good to hear then. In that case, we'll be back very, very soon with some more League of Legends action. Do not go anywhere, folks.
Alrighty, welcome back everyone to Game 2 of the 2023 Spring Collegiate League of Legends season. So Florida Tech here on the blue side versus Texas A&M on the red side. It is 1-0 for Texas A&M. They very beautiful game that they played last game. So let's see what Florida Tech, what they have to maybe try to respond to what happened last game. So first pick Sejuani for Florida Tech here. We did see that in the hands of Breadbin Crouton on Texas A&M, and he did very well in that champion. So Florida Tech, they're going to pick it up this time.
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, let's see how things change. And here we have Dipanator already taken away the enemy's jungler. I'm going to be interested to see this. I don't think we have seen Dipanator on the Sejuani.
They'll probably go into the hands of Reset in the jungle, to be honest. Because, yeah, I think Sejuani top was really strong. I think it is still strong, but I think it's just so much better in the jungle role because it gives you access to a better top laner like Cassante or Jax or something. And Trundle picked up instantly, so kind of just a one-to-one counter for the Sejuani, just tank shredder. That's what Trundle is, a tank killer, right? The subjugate, his ult just completely just gets all the resistances off of them and gives it to him. And Kai'Sa Nautilus for the bot lane. Okay, super aggressive here, super aggressive bot lane. And I think that maybe just an ADC pick here for the side of Texas A&M because Ashe, I do suspect, will go into the support role, or they might swap it up and put something else in the support role and have Ashe on the AD carry position, but I highly doubt that. Yeah, and it'll be Ezreal. So Ashe, Ezreal picked up here. Lots of poke already on the side here of Texas A&M.
Yeah, let's see if that poke will add up just like last game. I mean, as we saw, the roaming Ashe support was indeed unlocked last game, and I imagine there's a very good chance it could happen this game as well.
And the Vex ban, so now just can target Fungus Dungus's champions. I'd imagine maybe a Syndra ban or another one of his champions like, Ahri, he played last game, looked pretty good on. So yeah, they're gonna ban away the Irelia. And what champions are we looking for in the mid lane? Syndra is probably a big one. Orianna did get buffed this patch, but I don't think that either mid laners play that champion. And okay, Victor as well. I forgot about Victor. Azir as well is also an option in the mid lane. So these are all like these control mages that we could see get picked up here. And I just imagine they're just gonna play Syndra. Ooh, Zoe. Zoe did get buffed this patch as well. Her basically, if they pick her, that'd be interesting because her Sleepy Trouble Bubble, which is basically the bread and butter of the whole champion. Okay, no, it's not gonna be Zoe. It's going to be Syndra again. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Zoe did get buffed. Basically, when you have the bubble landed on someone, when it's procced, so this is the Azir I was talking about, but when you get the bubble procced on someone, it reduces their magic resistance just for the moments until they get woken up. So, yeah. Pretty big buff, actually. And Azir going to be picking up here for Fungus Dungus. So right now, Florida Tech's team comp, they have a lot of engage, but they also have a lot of peel with the Azir ults. And I imagine just a Jax here for Dipanator. And honestly, it's just going to be Cassante again, isn't it? Just pick Cassante. There we go. Oh, maybe not.
Maybe a Kennen.
Maybe he's a bit bored of the Cassante. But Kennen.
Hold up, let him cook. Let him cook.
Hold up. Oh, the Teemo hovered.
What are we cooking up?
No, not the Teemo top lane.
No, this is the special recipe. The forbidden recipe.
Okay.
Oh my.
There's no way. There's no way, right? Okay, it's the Lord.
Oh my gosh. How dare you debate us like that? I was so excited to see a Teemo top lane.
Teemo top lane. Actually, it doesn't seem that bad into Jax. Actually, no, it does seem bad into Jax. It does seem bad. It does seem bad. Because
really?
Jax is an auto attacker, but what happens when the Teemo blind is off? What do you do? Jax can just stick to you.
I guess so. I guess so.
And once again, both team comps here, they do have some utility to engage, right? The Azir, if he gets the shuffle off, the Shurima shuffle. Obviously, you have Nautilus, really good engager with the hook and the ults, the point and click. Sejuani is what we saw in that last game in the hands of Breadbin. Very, very, very well played, and just lots of CC on the champion, just super tanky, has lots of utility, can clear well, can gank well, just really strong champion overall. But the Trundle is going to be the wild card here because Trundle does beat Sejuani, in a straight up 1v1, obviously, and also in team fights, it's going to be really, really strong, going to be able to ult away the Sejuani's resistances, and then you just have the Syndra and the Ezreal just poke him and kill him.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. Like I think Trundle's really a great pick here for Texas. I think Trundle's a great response to the Sejuani, probably the ideal response in my mind. And we're seeing this pattern again. This is the same as last time for Texas, where we're seeing two tanks in the game. I guess you can consider Trundle a bruiser, but I mean he can kind of be a tank. But we're seeing that, and then we're also now seeing on Florida Tech side two tanks being picked up, which was not the case last game, but now is the case. So it'll be kind of interesting to see how those circumstances change. Especially in the bot lane now that we have Nautilus, a more aggressive support, and not the karma that we witnessed last game. It'll be interesting to see if they're going to be really committing to this all-in type of bot lane, or if they're still going to be playing kind of slow into this Ezreal Ashe. We'll just see how oppressive it is, I guess.
Yeah, but the thing is I think that Ezreal is so good into Florida Tech's team comp. The amount of just he can just escape. Like Ezreal's just so good into engage because he can just kite them back just over and over and over again. And the Ashe slows as well will be very useful from the W and the Ashe arrows. But the Ezreal is a really good pickup here against all the engage that Florida Tech has. Just be able to arcane shift away.
Yeah, you can buffer that with the Sejuani, with the Jax,
Exactly.
with the yeah, absolutely.
And you also have the Syndra. We saw last game. I'm pretty sure. I think just a couple of times we did see Ron Bryan here on the Syndra was able to buffer his E to knock back any engage. So last time when Reset was on the Wukong, when he would go try to E in and get the Cyclone off to kill, or go for the kill, the E just just completely just disrupts the engage.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of interesting. A lot of these comps as well that we're seeing, they have a lot of disengage and a lot of engage. That's something that I've noticed. Both comps, they have to have both of them to really be a strong composition. If you can engage and disengage properly, then that's perfect. That's perfect. That's all you really need to turn fights.
I also think what's interesting is I don't know how this mechanic works, but when you slide as Azir, right? You put down your soldier and then you E to it and then you Q, right? And so it slides sort of, right? I think Trundle can interrupt that E with his pillar because it hits. It's like is that how it works? Yeah. I think he can. So Trundle here, I mean, I'm pretty sure he might know about the mechanic, but I mean, it's something so subtle.
It's very minor. You have to be watching this Azir like a hawk to really make something like that happen.
A hawk because his ear's a bird.
I mean, I wasn't even going for it. But I'm glad you picked up on it. I'm glad you picked up on it.
Alrighty, and just gonna get the spectator delay out of the way, and we'll be heading into the loading screen. But just scaling as well from both sides. The Syndra with the Ornn, once she gets the ornament upgrade on her Ludens, which is probably she could go Leandri's this game as well, but with the amount of tankiness that Florida Tech has here, but just the ornaments, we call them the ornaments because the ornaments.
As we should. I think that's a fantastic name for him.
Yeah, and this time actually Ron Bryan will be going for Airy on Syndra and not First Strike, which I guess kind of makes sense because First Strike is only useful when you have it up, right? And Azir can poke you out very easily with the range that he has. So I think the Airy very, very smart here. And other than that, I'm curious if Reset will try to did he just flash? I think Ron Bryan just flashed.
Ron. I think we can do that one, buddy.
Remake? Anyone? No, I'm kidding. Anyway, the flash is burned. But the thing is, Florida Tech does not know that, so they can't abuse it whatsoever. And maybe they can look for a little bit of an engage here. Dipanator. He's going to be a little bit late to here, but Alexander is here. And he does see him. He's going to back up. The ward is placed. And will they get the ward? Oh, they didn't get the ward. It's all good, though. No sums were used, but I would have liked to see Jono flash there, bro. Honestly, just go for it. Whatever happens.
I would have liked to as well. I would have liked to as well. That's the aggression we're looking for.
Exactly. And I mean, honestly, I think that Coast does have PTA this game on Ezreal, which I do think. I don't know. I mean, do you think that
it works? I think it works. In my opinion, it works a lot better than First Strike would work here. And the reason for that is just because you can optimize your build path a little bit better. You have the choice of going, Kraken Slayer, and then if it's really such a bad tank situation, you can go Divine Sunder, right? And then maybe get an Essence Reaver as well, right? But that just all depends. I think PTA just works really good here.
Yeah, and this time both junglers pathing down to the bot side here. Reset and Breadbin both doing their topside camps here. And pretty standard so far. Leashes will be given. And look at Alexander already. Ooh, that hook. I mean, that's the thing. Now that there's no hook, he can just play up like this and get this Hail of Blade procs. And, you know, not much auto trading going back there. Alexander is just walking up into the lane and just... She's just right-clicking.
Yeah, as you should. You see that cooldown used. I mean, you got to make use of it. That's your chance to get some poke there.
Another dredge line miss there from Jono, but I like that he's going for stuff like this. And look at
look at Eric. He's playing up here. He knows that Jono has that cooldown. He has no choice but to just sit and take it. I like that. And
I think that another Mystic shot landed onto Instinct here, and a lot is already happening in the bot lane here. Fungus poking down the Syndra in the mid lane. Meanwhile, Dipanator, he is going to get the dodge off onto the Ornn pass. Actually, no, he does not dodge the Ornn passive auto, and he's just going to be trading here onto AG. AG does get the grass proc and will run away. Fully stacked lethal tempo for Dipanator, so good trade so far from the top lane. And it looks like that Bread Bin is going for a topside invade. He actually pinged on the way to mid lane. Fungus is going to get ganked here, but AYN60 is going to get flashed on in first blood over to Alexander. Meanwhile, Fungus, he's going to have to flash away. The stun will land. Flash in from Bread Bin. The shield from the E on Fungus. The last auto attack will finish him off. And a good gank there from Bread Bin. Crouton barely gets the kill on the Fungus. They both had to flash there. Actually, wait. Ron Bryant doesn't have flash. I'm sorry. Bread Bin Crouton just flashes under the tower to go for the kill. And
yeah, I wish we could see like almost a replay on that, because it was almost like they had the perfect setup there. You had the Syndra Q, and then it covered the flash with the Trundle Pillar as well. It was just.
And look at that wave. See that wave in the bot lane that just lost? They just lost pretty much. They just lost 2 waves of. Actually, no. Instinct will get there, but that kill that Alexander got with Coat in the bot lane, it's massive, right? Like Instinct was forced to flash away, and he still got flashed on by both of them and died. And honestly, it's just the Ashe support is just too oppressive. The amount of damage with the Hail of Blades as well it's big.
It is, and I mean Eric is certainly piloting it well, right? He's seen his openings and he's making good use of them. He's getting that pressure onto the Kai'Sa and to the Nautilus to the point where they can't really go for any aggressive plays, and when they do go for aggressive plays, I mean, we see.
Fungus is getting stunned up here. Pillar as well, but he'll just run away. Alexander is already unleashed. He'd already roamed through mid lane. And, you know, this is when it starts getting a little tricky when you have bot lane winning. You can just...
That's right. It's unlocked.
Yep, it's unlocked. The support is unleashed. And Bread Bin Crouton, he's going to reset, but it looks like reset is going to get the knock up onto Ron Bryant. Ron Bryant has no flash, and reset will grab that kill. Ron Bryant's reset was about to come up, and yeah, that dredge line barely missing onto Coat, but Coat still has cleanse up. Meanwhile, top lane, more trading going on. Dipanator will not get the Counter-Strike stun, and will just hop away.
Things have been going kind of slow this game. It hasn't been as slow as it was last game, where we are seeing some trade patterns here, you know, as we can see going on here in the mid lane. But, you know, it definitely has not been as slow as last game, that's for sure. Yeah,
it looks like the bot lane from Florida Tech here roaming up into the river, trying to get some vision. But it's kind of unfortunate for Fungus here. He has no TP, and he's this low on HP and mana in the lane. With no flash as well, it's really hard. And Dipanator forced to flash away from the Ornn here. But that's a massive wave that he's fighting in, even though reset is there. Meanwhile, on the bot lane, the dredge line will land onto the Ashe, but he will just live and not die. And they get the kill as well. And the Ornn Q barely gets the kill. He dings 6.
What are we doing here? Okay.
Reset does get the level up, I think, though. And can he get the kill, though? The flash with the Oh, he barely lives. A 1v2 turnaround from HZ in the top lane and another kill in the bot lane. Oh, man. It feels so unfortunate, this game. I mean, that gank top lane. Oh, and Dipanator barely misses the timing on his reset to get the kill. And, I mean, that was a massive wave that they were fighting. And that was at least, you know, 10, 12 minions that HG
was. We couldn't see because of the camera pan, but that was a very big wave.
Yep. And when you fight like that, as a jungler, when you're like under leveled as well, it's really hard to fight in those massive waves. And Bread Bin Crouton here, he will pick up the dragon. He's gonna heal quite a bit because of his past. Oh, the dredge line does land, but the arcane shift away is probably actually no. He just tanks all the damage. Why not? An Instinct gonna get the passive procced, but unfortunate there from Bread Bin Crouton. Honestly, it was so
well. We saw nothing, bro. We saw nothing.
We saw nothing. Nothing happened.
Nothing happened, bro. Don't worry about it.
I mean, honestly, that is so unlucky because
it's so unlucky. That is. Oh gosh.
It looks like Fungus did manage to get a reset off. So he was able to shove in the wave and get a reset off, which is good. He's going to be all good up on HP and mana, and Dipanator crashing a massive wave here in the top lane. Not going to be able to go for any plates, though, so he looks like he'll just back off. And once again, Texas A&M's bot lane here, just, absolutely crushing force, just they're winning every basically 2v2 that happens. They're just getting so much pressure for their jungler in the bot side. And yeah, more trading going on in the mid lane. Fungus Dung is actually up a level. Or not actually, he's not actually up a level. It looks like he is in terms of numbers, but like 7 to 6. But in terms of actual XP, Ron Bryan will probably hit 7 here soon. And looks like Fungus Dung he's gonna get, yeah, that's the interaction. The pillar actually blocking the Azir sliding glide, and the unleash power will help take down Fungus Dungus in the mid lane. He has no TP, so he's not going to be able to get this wave here, and a massive CS lead built up here from Ron Bryan. And it looks like they're just going to transition into the dragon. Yep, they do have that bot lane prio. So a free first dragon here for Texas A&M, Second time is the charm,
That's right. That's right.
Yep, he's going to get that dragon, and look at Alexander here. He's just going to freely just walk into the jungle, play some wards, get some vision, but Coast is going to get engaged on by the dredge line. Oh, flashing from Instinct, W flash, get the passive proc, but flash away from Coast. Can Instinct get, does he have his E up again for the movement speed? He does not, but that's good. They did burn the flash from Coat, but, it's the flash burn on the Kaisa, and when you're behind, I mean, you have to go for plays like that.
It feels bad, yeah. But the intention was there. I really do like what Instinct was going for, and it was definitely a possible lethal position, especially because I was expecting Coat to buffer the Nautilus Dredge, but he didn't happen to, so I can definitely see why Instinct saw it.
And now with no flash, Breadbin Crouton is looking to come here, and the Ash Hawk shot will basically clear the whole bot side of the jungle, so they know that their jungler, that reset's not here. And look at this. He's just being a nuisance. He's just going to ult he's going to ult Jono. He's going to get ignited, though. He's forced to flash away. Maybe a little too preemptive on that dive, but it's still going to get the job done. And you're still going to deny this whole siege wave. You're going to get all the plates up. So, I mean, yeah, it's just the amount of gold that Texas A&M is up. 3K already at 10 minutes is massive.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Instinct and Jono, truthfully, you're in a position where, to be blunt, you cannot really play the game at the moment.
Yep, you cannot play the game. And, I mean, there is a CS lead in the top lane and in the mid lane off of those ganks from Breadbin Crouton. He's going to pick up the red buff here, resets red buff. Hopefully he doesn't execute to it. Okay, he doesn't. He was getting kind of low there. I was getting worried. But, yeah. I think Jono just spot him out, and ooh, he does go in. The Shurima Shuffle will knock him back, but the Unleashed power in the end is more powerful than the bird, and he will get the kill. And meanwhile, Breadbin Crouton is going to chase down the Asher lens, but the Glacial Prison just in time from Reset. Call him Superman, the way he just saved the day with that. Very well played from Reset there. Barely got there on time to get the CC off in order to save his teammate there. And, Breadbin Crouton, he's kind of just, honestly, he's just having a little bit of a unfortunate game. He did execute to the dragon. I mean, he did pull off some good ganks in the mid lane.
That never happened. He never executed.
Oh, actually, wait, can you get this kill? They do. Shut down for Dipanator onto Ron Bryan in the mid lane, and the Herald will be popped to get some gold here. So good roam there from Dipanator. And, the gold lead is still... It's still substantial here for Texas A&M, but Florida Tech, they're fighting back. They're trying to get some stuff. And they're actually going to dive onto here. Dipanator is going to.
Oh, and the tower won't quite do it.
Dipanator landed the stun, and I think the Herald actually layered the CC, because when Herald charges, it deals like a little AOE. It deals AOE damage.
Yeah, it does.
And it also CCs you a bit and knocks you back. So that on top of the counter strike was able to get the kill. And good that Fungus Dungus got that. He needs some gold in his pocket here. He's a bit behind in the mid lane, so. And he's playing Azir, and Instinct going to take up a tower shot, and I think he actually might go down here to the Ornn ult will land onto him. He does not have flash. Yep, HZ is going to go, and ooh, the Ornn 1v2 in the bot lane. I mean, he is very tanky, and the Kaiser does not have any items yet, and will he be able to get this last kill? He actually is doing so much damage, and actually, if he had timed that Ornn Q a bit better, I think he could have, because the Ornn Q knocks up when it, erupts, right? So you could, I think, interrupt the Nautilus Q, if you know what I mean.
See, that's what I was thinking there. As soon as I saw that, that's what I was initially thinking. But I don't know. It's hard to say. I feel like the Nautilus Q still might just go through, even under.
Probably, yeah. That is true, actually.
It's hard to say. It's hard to say because it kind of looked like it was supposed to happen there, if I'm not mistaken. But maybe it was crazy.
And Coat gonna pick up solo tower in the top lane. He did get, I forgot how many plates were there, but he did get at least maybe 2 plates, I think. But he has the completed Essence Reaver, and he is building Crit Cloak, so I wonder what Mythic he'll go. Maybe Kraken Slayer? I have seen this build a lot. And recently, oh, the Dredge line barely missing onto Coat there. Crab will be picked up here. Instinct, poking down Run Brian in the mid lane here, and the Trundle is here to cover in case anything happens. So, yeah, meanwhile, I mean, the bot lane, yeah, it's just farming over and over again, just farming back and forth. And actually, as I say that, I mean, I just curse everything, don't I? Dipanator goes in onto HG, but it's just little trades.
Little trades. Yeah, you don't want to commit too much against this Ashe Eric Xander here. I think Florida Tech may have learned a lesson or two from randomly engaging on people and just arrows flying across the map of just around 5 seconds.
I mean, Texas A&M have cracked the top lane and the bot lane tower, so they're just looking for this mid lane tower here to get these last plates going up here. Plates are down in 1 minute, so they're just trying to get all the gold they can into their pockets. They are already up a lot, and Dipanator here, he's going to get 3-man. The arrow will not land. He's going to pop the ult. He's going to jump onto his Alexander. Lots of damage going off. He maybe gets the counter-strike off. He's going to dodge that. He's doing actually a lot of damage. The Emperor's Divide onto Redbin will kill him. Meanwhile, Instinct, I think, in the mid lane got cut out and died. And 1-for-1 on this bot side of the map, but on the other hand, Instinct does die to Run Brian Syndra in the mid lane.
I'm not sure if that was quite the angle soldiers that Azir was hoping to get there, but it's hard to say. It's hard to say. It seems like he may have wanted to also, throw in the Ashe as well, but
ooh, they're going here.
Unfortunately,
Hextech Dragon is being taken here by Florida Tech. They do have the soldiers who will be doing some damage, but Redman Crouton, he's gonna walk to the top side, so they're gonna give up this dragon. I mean, I don't even think that, do they know that Florida Tech's doing it? So I think they're just happy with giving it up. I mean, Ron Bryant has completed Luden's Echo, and he has the Hextech Alternator now, so he's building into that Shadow Flame. Just so much damage that he's going to be unleashing here on the Syndra. And the Ezreal, actually, Coat is going to be going for the Navori Quickblade second, so the 80 changes is another one of them. As I mentioned in the last game when he went Jhin, he went the Infinity Edge second. The other item that got changed was Navori, so now Navori also procs, or you get the passive on a 40% crit, and Navori is a bit different from Infinity Edge. Navori Quickblades is whenever you, I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, Flay, but whenever you crit, like, you get cooldowns refunded, not completely refunded, but just reduced.
Yes.
Splashed Red's line barely missing onto Alexander, and I mean, Jono is fishing for anything at this point. They're trying to get any kill.
Oh, it looks like the Ashe R will go a little bit long onto Dipanator, and we'll just buffer out that Nautilus R from Jono. We'll drop.
Jono might be dead. Jono's might be dead.
Yeah, he's just dead, straight up.
No flash. Yep.
Glacial Prison goes wide, doesn't connect with anyone. Yeah, that's pretty unfortunate there. Pretty unfortunate.
Yeah, Jono is just fishing for anything. He's just trying to get this kill onto Coat, and I mean, Eric does have a shutdown on him as well, so that gold would be nice to have. But look at this Orange, just tanking up everything with the Jack shows. And I mean, Fungus, he doesn't even have his mythic yet. Leandri's, meanwhile, Dipanator onto Coat. Coat is forced to cleanse. Ooh, the cleanse. I don't think did he get the cleanse off on the Counter-Strike stun? It did not look like he did, but he did.
It's hard to say. It's hard
to say, but he does end up getting the kill onto Dipanator at the last second with like last second Q or auto or something. And yeah, he gets the kill.
Maybe buffered the E damage. I don't know. Yeah. But
it's kind of hard to tell, but
very, very, very hard to tell.
very, very close, yeah. And Jono here just in the river. Does see the ward. He's gonna back up here. And this Orange is just free farming.
I also want to give props to Instinct, because Instinct has been farming pretty well given the circumstances of how this bot lane's been going for him. I mean, look at the CS counters here, 114 to 122, and Coat, he's just been in a predicament where he's just been able to farm and both top side and bot side, and then you've got poor Instinct who's literally only had access to bot lane CS that goes past his, first turret, so...
yeah, exactly.
It's been a little bit rough for him, and hey, he's still keeping up in CS. As a matter of fact, also even in CS now, so, I mean, it's gonna keep that in mind, and Instinct, keep it up, bro. You're doing great on the CS.
Yep, exactly, and I actually forgot, what soul is this? Is this Ocean or Chemtech? I can't tell. No, it's not Chemtech. Chemtech's already been taken. It's Mountain, It is Mountain Soul. You can tell from like the extra rocks, like the terrain, right? Oh, Ash Arrow, will it land onto anyone? It just, Instinct is forced to cleanse it off because the True Shot Barrage was coming in as well, and they're going to pop Herald, and actually Jono is just going to get completely one-shot. The stun did half his HP, and the Unleashed Power is going to do the other half and kill him, and Instinct just getting poked off here. Dipanator on the side, gonna get the stun off onto Bedouin Crouton, gonna get killed up. Double Shurifa Shuffle from Fungus. They flash onto Ron Bryan. Oh, the Kaisa Killer Instinct almost gets the kill onto Ron Bryan. He's 1 HP. Dipanator going back in, and it is almost a... Oh, that fight was so incredibly close. If Ron Bryan had died there, that would have been massive for Florida Tech, but he barely lived the Kaisa Q. Yeah, I think it's called
enter.
Yeah, they do have Herald getting one more proc here. Maybe Jono can get the... Oh, he did not get the... His E did not do enough damage to kill the Herald before it got the charge. So that was a super value Herald right there. Got the mid tower.
Value Herald, yeah.
Super value. Got the mid tower inhib and one charge on the Nexus tower at 17 minutes. This is massive here from Texas A&M.
This is absolutely massive. We might be able to pick up the Ashe though. Oh, and maybe not. Juno is going to get popped and reset his.
But yeah, but look,
Dipanator is here. Dipanator's like, I'm here to join the fight, baby. Boom, and he picks up a kill onto Ron Bryan.
Oh, they can kill the Ashe. No flash.
Shut down. Eric, you don't have an escape, my friend. Reset is here to put a stop to your matter. So is Fungus. Big shutdown gold on over to Fungus. Dipanator, he's looking for more here. Jumped onto Coat, dealing some pretty good damage. He's now fighting with Breadbend.
Oh my!
Onto Coat, taking up a lot of damage. Does buffer the E away, dealing some good damage over the wall. Q does barely miss. They're coming back in. Oh, and Coat will barely pick it up. Dipanator so close, but reset. He sees his opening here. He's looking for a potential
Glacial Prison.
Oh, actually, there it is. The Glacial Prison does connect onto Breadbend. Breadbend does go down, and we're
Dragon's
just
coming up.
Run away. Dragon's up, but that's huge. That's huge for Florida Tech. This is what they needed to get back into this game. Ashero is
Ron Bryan here
on to reset, but I don't. Oh my gosh! And here we have Ron. He's joined the fight. He's got
dropped.
Smite into the back, and
the True Shot Barrage takes down Fungus, but I think Ron Bryan will go down here to reset. One more Q from Jono will take him down. Meanwhile, Coat gonna go back in, but look, Alexander is here, and this is like a super extended fight. AYD Instinct is here as well. Blends, the R is gonna go down.
What is happening?
It's the end!
So close! Oh my gosh!
That was like 5 different fights in a matter of like just going over and over and over.
Like 3 or 4 separate fights. That was crazy.
Yeah, and honestly, in the end, Texas A&M are gonna come on ahead because I mean, Florida Tech did get a bunch of shutdowns. They did get the shutdown onto Eric. I think they got the shutdown onto Ron Bryant as well. So, you know, big shutdowns coming up, but they're gonna, in the end, Texas A&M will pick up the Mountain Dragon. And I mean, the Mountain Dragon is so big on their team, right? The Ornn, who has already built up all these resistances, is just gonna be super, super tanky. I mean,
yeah, I do not think HZ will have a death this game. You know, I could be very wrong. And
Azir, I mean, Azir is going to be coming online once he gets, I mean, if he is able to complete this Void Staff and maybe like, maybe a Death Cap, but that's kind of far off, right? But once he gets Void Staff, you should not underestimate Azir's damage. He did, I think, get 2 shutdowns in that last fight, so he's going to just have a little infusion of gold here, and he's farming up here in the top lane, and Texas A&M posturing towards the Baron in the topside river. Coat is very close to his Mythic. I think he will be going for the Kraken Slayer here, and yeah, the Asher will lay onto Dipanator, and Coat will go in, and Dipanator cannot use the True Shot Barrage.
You're a mad lad, Eric. I don't know what to say, man. You're a mad lad.
And since, look, he has Axiom Mark as well. His ult is already, it's already back on the cooldown. Look,
it's already back up.
It's literally, that is okay. That is insane. He already has Astro back up, and I mean, Florida Tech here, this Baron is going to be going over to Texas A&M. They cannot enter the river with the amount of zoning that Texas A&M here has, and yeah, free Baron over to the side of Texas A&M. I'd imagine they're just gonna, you know, run it down top, try to get that top tower, and, you know, maybe shove mid as well to get that pressure. And look at Instinct, you know, poor guy. I mean, what can you do? He's just getting that bot lane tower, you know, getting
I mean, when you're Instinct, you really don't have much else you can do this game. You're just trying to farm up. You're just trying to eat up any possible resource you possibly can, just to barely get strong enough to, you know, be able to contribute in these fights. But it is just so hard when you're this far ahead in your Texas A&M right now. You are just in a position where you are just meant to win this game with the Baron, with all these dragons here, and with a, I guess, 20-second cooldown Ash R that can get you picks whenever you need them.
It's so insane. Even without the Axiom, like, the reason it was up so fast last time when they got the kill onto Dipanator was because the Axiom arc reset, and while I say that, the Lorna R will go down. It's gonna actually hit too. Dipanator and Instinct. Dipanator is about to get pretty much one-shot Charmer.
Dream Shuffle.
Ooh, the missed Glacial Prison, and Fungus Dungus will die because of it. Coat will take down Jono, and Red Bin will finish off Fungus Dungus. And it looks like Texas A&M here at 22 minutes will finish off the game in dominating fashion.
Yeah, once again.
There was a little bit, it was getting a little bit fishy around the Mountain Dragon when Dipanator got a very good TP and he was able to flank and get the shutdown. But in the end, Texas A&M will pick up this game and the series 2-0.
Yes, very, very well played to both teams. But I mean, as you mentioned there, we did see some cracks in the armor of Texas A&M. We did see it there at that dragon fight, and unfortunately, Florida Tech bit off a little bit more than they could chew, and they inevitably lost those fights from there. But it was their best opening, and they had their chance to go for it, and I respect it all the way.
Yeah, and it looks like if they had given maybe Fungus Dungus a little bit more time to scale, I mean, it's so hard though. The amount of damage that Texas A&M had there in that team comp, and the amount of pick potential, like the Ash support is just hands.
Yeah,
like, I mean, you can't praise to Eric. He landed pretty much every arrow that I saw. He landed except for the one in mid lane. I think
just about every single one. Just about. Definitely above a 50% accuracy rate, I would say. No doubt.
And the thing is, when you pick a thing like Nautilus Kaisa, you kind of have to rule over your lane because, I mean, that you saw the range advantage that Ash support has over the Nautilus. Just can it be able to sit in the bush and just completely just poke him out of lane?
You can't miss those hooks, or you will 100% get punished for it. That's just how it's gonna be. And out of lane as well, like as you mentioned, when you're put in this position where you only have one choice but to just farm. And even that's a risk as well, because you have to always be looking at the map for Eric's R, right? You can't just go and farm the side lane and just be completely oblivious to the Ash R. So yeah, overall great games. I'm glad we got to witness this best of 3 here. Very good series from both teams. It was a very, very fun series to watch and cast with you, Baguette. I had a lot of fun today.
Yeah, and thanks to all the viewers here on the stream. Thank you all for tuning in and watching this game. Not the result we were looking for, but it is new faces in the bot lane, right? So yeah. So just a heads up, next Saturday as well, 4 p.m. Eastern time, same time as this stream, I'm pretty sure. We'll be playing more C-LOL with the same roster, so looking forward to that. I'll probably be there to cast that along with you, Flay, so looking forward to that.
Sure. I'm looking forward to it as well.
Yeah, thank you everyone for watching, and have a great rest of your weekend.
Goodbye, everyone.